Hello everyone, this is me Itba Abid. I am doing my MS in Project Management from the Institute of Management Sciences, Peshawar. Today, the presentation I'm going to present a guide to risk mitigation. First of all, I welcome you all to this comprehensive guide to risk mitigation in project management. In today's complex business environment, successfully navigating unforeseen challenges and securing project success is very difficult. We will look into these essential elements of risk mitigation in this presentation. It will equip you with the knowledge and tools to confidently address uncertainties. Before moving forward to the risk mitigation strategies, I would like to define what are the risks in a project and what the risk mitigation is. So, the risks are the unforecasted or unforeseen uncertain conditions that may arise during any project. Whereas risk mitigation is concerned, it is an essential practice in project management planning that organizations use to reduce the effect of uncertainty or lessen the effect of risk. The process is similar to risk reduction, where the potential business threats are identified and the organization use different strategies to reduce its effects on the project deliverables. The purpose of risk mitigation is basically to prepare for the worst and work for terms with the fact that one of the listed disasters can occur. So, before planning any risk management response or any risk management plan, it is necessary to identify and categorize the risks. For identifying risk include brainstorming sessions, SWOT analysis, and risk workshops. It is the utmost duty of the project manager to involve all the project team members, stakeholders, and key experts in brainstorming workshops and encourage them to have open discussions that will help uncover the potential risks that might get overlooked. Next is SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is basically the analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This provides a structured approach to understanding internal and external risks associated with the project. Risks workshop basically include the collection of historical data or risk breakdown structure. The historical data is basically reviewing the past projects data and lessons learned can help identify patterns or recurring risks that may impact the current project. Whereas the risk breakdown structure, that is RBS, is concerned, it is basically the hierarchical decomposition of risk that categorizes them according to the areas of the project they impact. For example, technical, external, organizational, or project management related risks. Once the risks have been identified, it is necessary to categorize them. Categorizing risks include internal versus external, known versus unknown. Moving forward, the next step is to analyze the risk and prioritize it. Risk assessment can be either done qualitatively or quantitatively. Qualitative analysis means assessing risk based on expert judgment. Qualitative analysis is the process of evaluating the probability and effect of risk that have been identified. Qualitative risk analysis classifies risk on the basis of their impact on the goals of company, whereas the quantitative analysis is concerned, it is utilizing statistical methods for probability and impact. For example, using the Monte Carlo approach, decision trees, and models that help in examining how risks affect project goals. After the risks have been assessed successfully, the prioritization is done. Prioritization can be done using risk matrix or heat. Moving forward, developing risk mitigation strategies. There are four basic risk mitigation strategies, that is risk avoidance. Risk avoidance is the best way to mitigate the risk. It is basically to avoid it by changing the project plan, by altering this project scope, schedule, and deliverables to eliminate the risk. Risk reduction includes minimizing the probability or impact. Risk transfer includes shifting the risk to another party, that is, subcontracting the project with specialized contractors, or buying the insurance from the insurance companies. The last but not the least, the fourth mitigation strategy is the risk acceptance. That is acknowledging the risk and developing the contingency plans. Moving forward comes the tools and techniques for risk mitigation. Number one is contingency planning. Contingency planning is basically the predefined actions to address the risk and minimize the damage. The purpose of contingency plan is to ensure that if a risk materializes, the team can respond quickly and effectively to minimize its impact on the project objectives. It acts as a proactive safety net to maintain the project continuity. For example, consider a risk has arisen, that is, a critical supplier might fail to deliver materials on time. The contingency plan would be identify and engage with alternative suppliers ahead of time to secure materials if delays occur. Uh, the risk response planning. Risk response planning is creating strategies to address specific risks. The goal is to minimize the impact of negative risk, that is, threats, and to maximize the benefits of positive risk, that is, opportunities on project objectives such as scope, time, cost, and quality. For example, a key team member might become unavailable during a critical phase. Response plan would be mitigate by cross-training other team members to cover critical tasks and accept by allocating extra time in the schedule as a contingency. Next mitigation strategy is decision trees and simulation. The decision trees and simulations are two powerful tools that helps in mitigating any risk. These are basically analyzing different risk scenarios and potential outcomes. A decision tree is a visual representation of different choices and their potential outcomes, including risk, cost, and benefits. It helps in analyzing complex decision making scenarios by breaking them into smaller and structured parts. For example, a company is deciding whether to invest in new technology or by continue using current systems. Uh, Investing in the new technology, the company has 50% chance of success with $100,000 profit and 50% chance of failure with $50,000 chance. Or continuing using the current systems, that guarantees them to gain the $20,000 profit. By calculating the expected value for both options, they can choose the optimal path. As far as the simulations are concerned, a simulation is a technique that models real world scenarios to predict outcomes by running multiple iterations based on variable inputs. The most common type used in project management is the Monte Carlo simulation. Monte Carlo simulation is to define the model and input variables, assign probability distributions to uncertain variables, run multiple simulations to generate possible outcomes, and then analyze the results, for example, probabilities, histograms, or cumulative distribution graphs. For example, a construction company is a construction project manager uses Monte Carlo simulation to estimate project completion time by modeling the uncertainties in task durations. The output shows a 90% probability that the project will finish within 8 months, helping in scheduling the and risk mitigation. Next is the best practices to avoid the risks. That is to develop the risk aware culture. to promote open communication and transparency. Proactive planning is to identify and address potential risks earlier. Continuous monitoring, that is regularly assess and update risk mitigation strategies. Collaboration is involve all stakeholders in risk mitigation. That was all about a guide to uncertainty, that are the risk mitigations. I hope you like the content and the video. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.